Before the grand narrative of a nation was written in ink and blood, there was the land itself, a vast, untamed continent of sprawling forests, towering mountains, and winding rivers. This was the world that awaited the first European ships, their sails like ghosts on the horizon, carrying with them the seeds of a new world order. The story of the United States is not a single linear tale, but a complex tapestry woven from countless threads of ambition, desperation, and the unyielding pursuit of a new beginning. It's a story of how a patchwork of disparate colonies, each with its own identity, was forged into a single nation, born from a revolutionary idea. From the marshy, malaria-ridden grounds of Jamestown, where survival was a daily battle for fortune-seeking Englishmen, to the rocky shores of Plymouth, where separatists sought refuge to practice their faith freely, the American colonies were defined by their diversity. In the South, vast plantations built on the backs of enslaved Africans drove a tobacco-based economy, creating a rigid social hierarchy. Meanwhile, the northern colonies developed into bustling hubs of trade and commerce, their societies shaped by Puritan ethics and a fierce spirit of self-reliance. As these settlements grew, so did the friction. Early interactions with Native American tribes were a complex mix of cooperation and brutal conflict, and with each new tax and regulation imposed by the distant British Crown, a sense of shared grievance began to fester, uniting these fiercely independent colonies against a common oppressor. The simmering resentment finally boiled over into open rebellion. It began not with a single gunshot, but with defiant acts that captured the imagination of a generation. In the dead of night, colonists disguised as Mohawk Indians dumped chests of British tea into Boston Harbor, a symbolic act of protest that echoed across the Atlantic. Riders like Paul Revere galloped through moonlit towns, their urgent warnings a prelude to the clash of muskets at Lexington and Concord, where the shot heard round the world signaled the start of a war for independence. These were not just protests. They were the physical manifestation of radical new ideas championed by thinkers like John Locke and Thomas Paine, who argued that all men were endowed with inalienable rights, liberty, self-governance, and the right to overthrow a tyrannical government. Victory on the battlefield was only the beginning. The real struggle was to create a nation from the ashes of revolution. In the sweltering heat of a Philadelphia summer, a remarkable group of men, the Founding Fathers, gathered for the Constitutional Convention. They were lawyers, merchants, and landowners, and they brought with them a lifetime of conflicting experiences and regional interests. The debates were fierce, the compromises painstaking. How could the power of a central government be balanced against the rights of individual states? How could the ideals of liberty coexist with the institution of slavery? The documents they forged, the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, were not perfect. They were revolutionary compromises, frameworks for a new republic built on the radical premise that government derives its power from the consent of the governed. The legacy of these foundational moments continues to shape the American experience. From the proud silhouette of the Statue of Liberty, welcoming immigrants to the majestic dome of the Capitol building, these symbols represent an ongoing experiment in democracy. The founding principles of liberty and equality have inspired movements for civil rights and social justice, even as the nation grapples with the contradictions and compromises of its birth. The story of the United States is not a closed chapter in a history book. It is a living, breathing narrative, constantly being rewritten by the untold stories of its diverse people, each adding their voice to the continuing journey of this complex and ever-evolving nation.